ink on top of each other to basically create artistic images like some of the masters on canvas, so that you could hang this up on your, on your fireplace in your home or in your commercial building, and you would be hard pressed to tell the difference unless you were a curator or had some expertise in that field. So, okay.
Thanks so much. Epson, some of the new substrates that you're using over there.
Yeah, just follow up with something that Matt was mentioning earlier. Epson is certainly in dye sublimation. I mean, every day there's new things that some of the manufacturers of the substrates are coming out with. Obviously, there's aluminum panels for flat art. That's very popular now. There's also things like the usual, trinkets like the coffee mugs, the mouse pads, the flip-flops, bags. All kinds of things are now out there that you can print on, either directly with a DTG system or with a sublimated transfer system. As long as as long as there's a heat press designed to wrap around it properly, and there's even vacuum heat presses that are pretty much can wrap around any odd-shaped product, whether it's a cell phone case or whether it's a golf ball or any kind of these things. It can actually wrap around it quite well. You can sublimate onto things.
Wait, I'm really confused. So you're saying you don't have to do stamp printing anymore?
No. You can transfer with heat onto anything that has a polyester base.
Wow.
So what we've actually have a couple of customers.
Wait, I need a moment on that.
Yeah,
wow.
Using our technology, using the dye sublimation technology to actually make siding for buildings. So they're actually using a very long heat tunnel. They're using transfer of, so for example, you want to do a billboard on the side of a building, but it's a sided building. You could actually embed the billboard onto the siding and then install the siding on the building, and you now have basically it's impregnated into the polyester coating of the material. So if it's a vinyl siding with a polyester coating on top, you can actually put a very high quality digital graphic onto the outside of that siding. They're making car dashboards now with a sublimated process with either different types of material that look like wood, and then they go ahead and sublimate the wood grain over top. And that now becomes interiors of a car. It's actually mind-boggling the things that people are coming out with right now on the sublimation side. On the aqueous side, people are also doing some really cool things. You can now print right onto an aluminum panel that has an aqueous inkjet receptive coating on it to get a similar look to a sublimated aluminum Chromolux panel, for example. All you have to do is laminate it after with a high gloss laminate, and it looks virtually identical to something that someone would print with a sublimated piece. The only difference is you're using a very high light fastness and very long durable resin encapsulated pigment, so you get a much better color gamut. You get much better gray tones because we're using multiple levels of black, and you're not using the same sublimation technology, so you're actually getting a similar light fastness and print durability to something you would get in a museum quality print, for example, off of a regular inkjet printer. So the stuff that people are coming out with is just mind-boggling, and it's almost hard to keep up with what's available.
Thanks so much. GMG. We were on the color management panel yesterday, and we talked about color being either the first color, paper either being the first color or the fifth color, however you look at it. So we've just mentioned so many different possibilities for substrates that can go through a wide format. What are the considerations for color management, and how is your software addressing this?
That's a good question. There's the different processes have very specific problem areas often, like dye sublimation, for example, especially when you go onto textiles, has an incredibly high dot gain. Typical color management software has issues with that because there's not enough. You're basically looking at a curve which goes extremely steep, and there's a couple of reference points that can be measured, and the distance between that point is not that big, or or has a certain space, and if the differences between that are too big, the interpolation which is happening in a profile, and I don't want to go too technical, become problematic. So you see sometimes artifacts. If you look good at textile and backlit textile elements, for example, you sometimes see that in the darker shadow areas you get some points where the gradient seems to break off a little bit, or there's a gray area where the color seems to shift away and then come back. So those are things that you need to what you need to know. So we have adjusted our software to be much more precise in those areas for the specific materials or ink technologies that you're using, so that we can compensate for those things. So for example, when you start a calibration with our software, one of the things which is asked is which printer it is, which technology, and what what the kind of inks are, so that we actually use a different calculation method based on whether it's UV curable, for example, or solvent, or dye based, or dye sublimation. And so we do take those things into account. What you need to do, however, what we try to do is, it is complicated, but to try to take the complexity out of it and put the intelligence in the software, so that basically anybody, by just going through a couple of steps, can get the results they want. Because there's fantastic applications, there's great things that you can do, but if you cannot get the result out of the machine, there's a lot of people just struggling sometimes for a day to get a good result out of it. So it's essential that you have something that helps you to maximize the capabilities of the machine, so that you can also maximize the profitability of the investments that you've made.
Thanks so much, and that's a perfect segue to profitability, which brings me to estimation. We've talked about different processes, different machines, different substrates. All of it has to be priced out some way. Avanti offers estimation. So how does it play into this wide format world with all these processes, and how are you customizing? Are you working with the shops individually to figure out what their offerings are? How does Avanti fit into this?
Okay, so when we go to implement with a new client, we have an implementation team, obviously, that's on site. They get an understanding of the customer's business, and we're able to customize by using what we call estimating standards for each platform or each piece of machinery that's being used. So inside those standards, we have the ability to estimate based on square inches, on area, or square foot, on the linear foot. We also have the ability to customize which ink types are attached to that press. And in addition to that, the different resolutions, so different fabrics might require speed compensations, different resolutions. So for outdoor work, you would be printing at a faster speed than for indoor quality work. So the ability to customize for each specific press is one aspect. We also have the ability to, based on the thickness, we can compensate, and then each inventory item has its own record, and specific information can be recorded on there, and specific to costs. Each press, we're able to designate, related to the speed, hourly rates for both setup and runtime. We also have the ability to have a separate cost center for labor. And then as well, in the inventory item side of things, we capture the landed costs. So not just what we're paying our supplier, but we're factoring in our shipping costs, so that we know our true costs. And that all translates into the estimating system, where by using those standards, we can see very, very quickly exactly how much the job is costing us. We can see what margin we've applied to it, using those estimating standards, and that gives us the ability, or the user the ability, to make very, very quick decisions, to say, this is our profitability. A lot of times a customer will come back to the printer and say, I got someone else that can do it for X dollars. With Avanti Slingshot, we can very quickly look at what that job is costing us and make that decision on the spot as to whether or not we want to match that price.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So we have about 5 minutes left, and what I'd like to do is I'll start with Ken and I'll come down the row. And please just remind everybody who you are and how they can get in touch with you, and then your elevator pitch on why your wide format technology adds value to a print shop.
So again, just to repeat, Jim Stalford, I'm the Senior Director for Wide Format Printing Systems at Canada. Feel free to drop by our booth. I would be more than happy to host you to show you the different technologies. And if that's the value we bring to a business, we do not feel that all applications can be fit with, for lack of better words, one tool. We have different technologies for different types of applications, and we truly believe we can bring value to your business, regarding whether you're just entering the wide format space or whether you've been in it for a while and are just looking at produce more revenue and margin within your business.
Thanks so much. GMG?
Yeah, so my name is Bart Fred, Director of Sales for Canada for GMG. We have a booth at 5144, so you're welcome to drop by. We're actually also showcasing our software for wide format on the Cancel booth. The value that we bring, what good is the printers that you've bought and the materials you're printing and the products you're producing if you cannot get the maximum best result out of it? That's basically what we do. We optimize the equipment that you have so that you can get to the right color every time,
Thank you so much. Epson?
Andrew Patrick, Manager of Professional Imaging for Epson Canada. We're down there between HP and Canon, between aisles 5100 and 5200. And again, I mean, printing companies know Epson for a long time for the accuracy and our gamut for prepress proofing. We've obviously been in the prepress proofing business for quite a while. And so what Epson brings to your business is the same commitment to high quality, high color gamut, wide gamut, very high quality output in the areas that you feel that might add value to your business, whether it's outdoor, whether it's sublimation, whether it's wide format, indoor aqueous, or even fine art and photo printing. I mean, we still maintain the same standards and have that same vision in all of those different areas.
Thank you so much. Avanti?
I am Jeff Barker, and I am a product specialist at Avanti. We can be found right next to the front door, so you have no excuse for saying that you couldn't find us, because we're right there on your right-hand side as you're walking out. And elevator pitch, Avanti helps you manage your business more efficiently and make better decisions about that business. So everything from estimating, knowing your cost, translating that into a job ticket, scheduling, juggling. As most printers know, that scheduling is a huge concern, so we're able to help with that. All the way through automating the purchasing process, tracking costs, right through to shipping integrations with all the major carriers, and right through to invoicing and on into integration into your accounting system. So we're able to help with all the big picture.
Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, Muto.
Matt Bartlett, Regional Sales Manager for Muto Canada. You can find us at booth 5352, just down this aisle. I guess from a differentiator, we offer very high quality solutions in a variety of different ink types, if you want to break it up that way. We really make it easy for you to make money, and I stress the easy part. We have solutions that make it really easy for someone to come in and start making money. Maybe not day one, but by day 3 or 4, something like that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching the panel. That's my favorite panel guy. You come to all my panels. Hi, I like you. And thanks for everybody at home. Sorry we had a little glitch with our internet, but we have been recording, so we will post it up to YouTube. Anybody watching on the live stream, we're not sure how much of it went through, but we will rectify later on. So thanks so much. That's what I was doing in the middle of this. I was like, where's the tech? So thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wi-Fi blew, like, boom.